This tag was created by Library of Sarah, and I was tagged by Danielle from OneSmallPaw. The way this tag works is there's a list of different types of books you have to try and find in your book collection, on your shelves, in your bookcases, and that's about it. The T is going to be put right here. Find an author's name or title with the letter Z in it. Z as in Marcus Zusak, who wrote The Book Thief. This is a young adults book in the US, but it was originally published as a adults book in Australia, I believe, where the author is from. And it's about a girl who steals banned books during World War II in Germany. Find a book that's a classic. Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut. It was considered a classic when I was in high school, so I'm gonna go with its classic. I also really like this book, and I don't think I've expressed that ever on my channel. Find a book with a key on the cover. Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. This is the Penguin English Library Edition. Find something that isn't a book on your bookshelves. As I think I've mentioned once or twice before, I'm the queen of clutter when it comes to my bookshelves, so I have lots of stuff I could potentially grab, but I went with this cup of bookmarks I usually keep on the shelf behind me. Find the oldest book on your bookshelf. I grabbed this book that my grandmother gave me. 1939. That's pretty old. I'm gonna go ahead and say that this book, Anyone Can Draw, is the oldest book on my bookshelf. Find a book with a girl on the cover. Morrison's The Bluest Eye, because it has this little girl on the cover. Find a book with an animal in it. Sappho's Fables by Laura Bishop and Jennifer Deemer. In the Rapunzel retelling, which is called Braided, there is this fantastic magical cat. Find a book that has a male protagonist. I grabbed Flight by Sherman Alexie. This is a book about an American Indian boy who travels back and forth through time to search for his true identity. It has a male protagonist. Find a book with only words on it. Ariel by Sylvia Plath. This is a collection of some of her poems. This is also a used copy, as you can see from the stickers on it. It was part of the Women's Resources and Research Center's library at UC Davis. I don't know if you can see that. Might be too light, but there's a little stamp. Find a book with gold lettering on it. So I ended up going with this edition of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. Find a book with illustrations in it. I found several. Geektastic Stories from the Nerd Herd, edited by Holly Black and Cecile Castellucci? I hope I said that right. I grabbed this because it has comics. Volume 1 of the Wish series by Clamp. This is a German edition that my German instructor gave me in high school, and I read this series in German. I'm going to show you this one. There you go. Thor the Mighty Avenger, which I just recently got, and I absolutely love the art in this. Here's Thor and his hammer. This panel was one of my favorites just because Thor is talking about how it took him so long to learn English because he was having difficulty with irregular verbs. I just love that so much. Find a diary, either true or fictional. Look Both Ways, Bisexual Politics by Jennifer Baumgartner. It has a very memoir type feel to it because Baumgartner talks a lot about her lived experiences as a woman who is openly bisexual. Find a book that has an author with a common last name. I went ahead and just grabbed White Teeth by Zadie Smith. Find a book that has a close-up on the cover. I was looking and looking and looking and looking, and then finally I realized, duh, the Ugly series has close-ups on every cover, and I own that series. So I went ahead and grabbed Uglies, which is the first book in the series by Scott Westerfeld, and it has a close-up of this person's face, which wraps around. It's part of the reason I like the older covers better than the new covers, because all the close-ups wrap around, and I just think that's cool. Find a book that takes place in the earliest time period. Queen of the Damned by Anne Rice. This is the third book in the Vampire Chronicles, and parts of it takes place in ancient Egypt. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that is the earliest time period on my shelf, I think. Find a hardcover book without a dust jacket. Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie. This is the Barnes & Noble's fancy leather-bound edition. Find a book that's teal or turquoise. I guess I'm going with this one, Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. Find a book with stars on it. One Solstice Night by Elora Bishop, who, as I've mentioned many times on this channel, is the pen name of writer Sarah Damer. If you can see it, there are stars on the background. Find a non-YA book. This is so easy. The Namesake by Jhumpa Lahiri, which also has gold lettering. I could have grabbed this one. I didn't even notice that. Really, really love it. I recommend it to everyone, essentially. And it is a non-young adults book. So there we go. I finally finished this tag. And I'm gonna go ahead and tag these lovely people right here. There should be a list of names that just magically appear. Also, anyone who I don't tag who wants to do this is more than welcome to. Do tags without being tagged. Yep.